Powerboat P1, the latest news direct from Powerboat P1. The teams are behind the scenes. The first ever P1 Scottish Grand Prix of the Sea came to a close on a wet Sunday, but the rain wasn't enough to put the crowds off on Greenock Esplanade. Disappointing, not only for the competitors, but also for the hardy spectators who had gathered to watch, not least because Saturday's action had taken place in beautifully sunny conditions. The heavens opened, however, on Sunday, and the mist descended, causing disruption to the racing schedule. Les Hudson is Powerboat P1's safety officer.
We had delays because we couldn't see the whole of the course. As a safety officer, I'm responsible for everybody's safety, and it's got to be the whole of the course that we can see. It's basically a mile long. We need for everybody to be able to see what's going on the course, particularly me, so that as a safety officer I can direct everything that's going on. We had also to curtail it from the point of view of we have what we call an extender lap, a pit lap. Different people call it different things. Because that was outside the scope of the main course, we couldn't see it. So we decided we'll stay with the main course, everyone's on an equal footing. And we just took it from there as best we could.
Now, yesterday was a completely different ball game. We were in scorching sun, the scenery was beautiful, we could see for miles, but of course that meant the racers were going hard and fast, pushing it to the limit, and of course, whoopsie, on one of the major first corners of the course. It seemed to be dealt with extremely well, though.
It was dealt with within a matter of a minute. The safety team were on standby as always. The medics were there within half a minute. We had the boat under tow within a few minutes while the casualties were being dealt with. Thankfully, everything is fine. Maybe a few bumps and bruises, but that's powerboat racing.
Safety officer Les Hudson. John Donnelly explained what happened to Shelley.
We all came down into turn one, all tightly packed. We went into turn two, tightly packed as well. We went for an inside line. We had a sweeping boat on the outside, and there just wasn't enough room for us all to get through there. So, unfortunately, we managed to stay upright. The other one didn't, but thankfully Stuart's all right, and everybody's come out okay. The boats can be fixed, and the people are okay. So.
I mean, that is racing. It's hard and fast. It's a one design class, so there isn't a lot of room for error in those tight corners. But then today, complete weather change. Yeah. But you're still out there. Vin, how was today in compared to yesterday?
Today was brilliant because we worked really hard last night. We found a local company that supported us. Worked all night rebuilding the bottom of the boat.
What actually happened?
It had a hole in it.
It had several holes in it. During yesterday's incident, basically the propeller of Stuart's boat went across the bottom of our boat and cut a few big holes in it. We started to take on water, but we managed to patch it up just well enough to get out there today. As long as it held water today, that we knew we could race. So we went out and done our thing and had a couple of good results today. Unfortunately, one of those was a bit of a setback because nobody scored any points on that race. But we raced hard, we raced fair, and we've had a good day, good weekend.
Quantum Racing's Vin Burdock and John Donnelly reflecting on their second place in Greenock. Well, as a result of the weather, only one P1 Superstock UK race was completed, and the Aquacross Enduro action was reduced in time. But a Grand Prix was promised, and a Grand Prix was delivered, and it was third place, and a first podium finish for Bournemouth-based brothers Lee and Glyn Norville in E-Marine Racing.
It was very interesting. The course, it was flat, but technical, shall I say, racing-wise. But hard as the weekend went on, so it got harder and harder, and it was just race as hard as we could, really.
Why did it get harder and harder?
I think a number of reasons really, but it was going from a flat sort of thing. Today was going a bit more choppier. The weather started taking effect. We've had rain today, so just been sort of mounting itself. Everyone's been getting used to their boats. The second race of the season, so speeds were getting up. Everyone wants to get points, so it was made a good thing.
The boat was running and not too happy today for some reason, so. I think we just need to go home and do a bit of work on it to try and sort of improve it and get it ready for Gosport. But it was like different day today completely, even the boat as well.
You've raced very tactically all weekend. You've come midfield. You've not been up at the front. You've not been at the back runners. So you've very tactfully gone round, points make prizes, and got that third spot. Was that planned?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. It's you know, we struggled to compete with the top end guys, but we know if we're just behind them, then you know it will pay dividend.
Like today.
Like today. Yeah, definitely. So.
Lee and Glyn Norval, racing in support of Help for Heroes, reflected on their third place finish in Greenock. Now, the only thing Pertemps Network had to do on Sunday was finish to take the weekend spoils. Brother and sister crew of Sam and Daisy Coleman duly obliged, with a race win ahead of Quantum Racing and home team Spirit of Inverclyde.
Oh, unbelievable. It's way more than we could have expected. We obviously did quite well in Scarborough in really rough testing conditions, and we thought that was almost sensible driving and bringing the boat home that got us to the top step. To come here in what was essentially flat water and still be super competitive and come away with this kind of result is just beyond a dream. It's unbelievable.
Daisy, you're getting a little bit old hat at this now. You're becoming a pro. What is it like, the difference between navigating for Sam, your brother, as opposed to John Wilson, who basically trained you from a baby?
I mean, Sam and I, well, John is phenomenal, and we've got so much respect for him. He's a fantastic driver, and Sam had some shoes to fill. The main difference, I would say, is that me and Sam will argue a little bit more, we'll have a bit more of a discussion, but I feel perfectly safe, 100%. John's been racing for 8 years, Sam's been racing, this is his fourth event. It's just as good.
Okay, I've got to ask, in the discussion, who wins?
Oh, me, I'm the navigator, I call the shots.
Quite clearly. I hate to say this, Sam, but the navigator always gets the last say. Did you not get taught that in your training?
Yeah, well, I thought it was overruled for being siblings, so... but no, it's everything she says goes in the boat, and that's the way it should be, and I completely trust her implicitly. She's outstanding at her job, so...
It was very fast, close racing up here, completely different to Scarborough. It was flat, fast and furious. That's a lot harder work for a navigator. Just explain to me, what you're doing in the boat, Daisy.
Oh, constantly. I'm like a meerkat, Shelley. Sometimes I stand on my seat if we're that far away from the start boat. I'm looking, so as soon as we get that yellow flag up and we're under the starting orders, that's it. High alert, looking for the start boat, seeing where the boats are. Sam has got tunnel vision fixated 100 feet in front of the boat, or looking for the next set of waves beyond that. He has nothing. Is full situational awareness. The moment he takes his eyes off the front of the boat or looking at the next wave, we lose precious miles an hour. So I am his eyes and ears. He's basically my puppet.
3 out of 4 races you've won, which is absolutely fantastic. You did get some great clear leads. Who is your main competitor in the whole series? Who do you really feel is, because you're now top of the leaderboard, so who's chasing you down?
Vin and John Donnelly. They're in Quantum Racing, in the Robo boat. They've got a phenomenally quick boat. John's very experienced. They've both put a lot of time and effort into that and got that going. So they're well, to be honest though, everyone is. So it's a mixed ball bag this year. We've got Norval brothers in a quick boat. They made it third onto the podium this weekend, so they're really pleased with that. So although we're at the top, anything can happen at the end of the day. Stuart and Sarah, thank God they're all right. They had an incident this weekend, but they're again phenomenally experienced team. So it's anyone.
Daisy and Sam Coleman from Pertemps Network chatting there with Shelley, Jory-Leigh. Well, after their second place in Scarborough, Pertemps now lead the Superstock Championships and head into round 3 in Gosport full of confidence. Now, alongside the Powerboat P1 Superstock races, Aquacross thrilled the crowds, with wins for Phil Pope in the 300 class, Richard Rowe in 250 and Simon Gill in Elite. And for the first time, an Aquacross Junior Series for 10 to 13-year-olds was featured in the schedule, and it was Lucy Gadsby who landed victory. But she wasn't the only youngster to look out for in Greenock. Shelley caught up with Scottish Youth Honda champion 10-year-old Oban Duncan, along with mum Karen.
When she was 8, we came to a taster session with the RYA, and we went out just for the day, and we had a fabulous time over at Loch Goyle Head, and our instructor said, do you know what, she's got something, So he said, why don't you enter in the competition? So we entered into for the Honda Rib Challenge, only 8, and she came second and got a silver medal. And to be honest, they were about a good minute in front of anybody else who was third. So, and they were 12 at the time. So she said, Mummy, I really like this. How about putting a boat down on my Christmas list.
A boat? Wow.
So obviously Father Christmas and Mummy and Daddy had a wee chat, and yeah, that's what she got for Christmas.
Oban, tell me about your racing. Do you absolutely love it?
Well, yeah, I absolutely love powerboating, and it's really fun all the time, yeah.
So when you first did the Honda Youth Challenge, what did you have to do for that?
Well, we had to go around a slalom course, and there was a man overboard drill, and there was a reversing drill as well, yeah.
And you were competing against children who were quite a lot older than you, yes?
Yeah, the oldest was 12.
What makes you drive and, like today, get up when it's pouring rain and go out there and practice?
Well, I just guess like all the spectators cheer me on, and just having a bit of fun is like what drives me.
Aban Duncan chatting there with Shelley. And in a challenge race around the Aquacross course, Aban came second to Shelley. Clearly one to watch for the future. So, after the first Grand Prix of the Sea in Scotland, how did Greenock fare for Officer of the Day, Mark Pritchard?
It's been an interesting weekend, Shelley. It's had its ups, its downs. We've had dolphins, other marine animals. I think Sammy the sea snail popped up at some point. We've had weather changes, we've had it all, but we've got a good weekend's racing under our belt. It's been a great atmosphere with a good crowd, and it's been a fantastic venue to play at.
Next stop is Gosport. It's your hometown. Have you got a favourite venue? Because you've been Officer of the Day for Powerboat P1 for quite a long time now, and we've sort of travelled the country. A favourite anywhere?
No, I'd say my favourite venue is Bournemouth, if I'm honest, because Bournemouth offers it all. We have the beach, we normally have the sun. It's a nice venue to work at. We get big crowds, and it was always a favourite when I raced as well. So, and I get to stand on the end of the pier, which makes my life a lot easier.
But Mark will have to wait until September for that Bournemouth round of the Powerboat P1 Superstock Championship. Well, despite the opposing conditions on Saturday and Sunday, Scotland's first Powerboat P1 Grand Prix of the Sea has been hailed a huge success. Powerboat P1 Chief Operating Officer is Robert Wicks.
Shelley, this has got to be one of the best venues for powerboat racing anywhere in the UK. Everybody at Greenock and within the wider Inverclyde region has made us feel so welcome. A huge amount of work's gone into to make this a successful event, and I know the teams, the officials, the media and our sponsors have absolutely loved the weekend. Not blessed with the best of weather today, but managed to get a lot of racing underway, and obviously some of the most incredible crowds I think powerboat racing's ever seen in the UK yesterday, basking in 25-degree heat, and just the most magnificent setting with the hills around the Clyde, and obviously the river playing host to some fantastic Powerboat P1 racing, both from a Superstock perspective and a P1 Aquacross perspective as well.
Now, you and I have been reminiscing today of all the places that Powerboat P1 has been round the world. Bosphorus River, in Turkey, we've been to Tunisia, we've been all over. But this, in all fairness, up here in Scotland, this was a hidden gem. This is like an amphitheatre for racing. We were so close to the wall.
Yeah, exactly, Shelley. I think this is one of the best venues. There's no doubt. We have a mile-long esplanade from which we had more than 20,000 people watching the racing yesterday, and a beautiful backdrop of wonderful rolling hills, green, lush countryside, giving you a sense of perspective on the other side of the Clyde. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Very much a natural amphitheatre for racing. So the teams have loved it, the sponsors have loved it, and we very much look forward to coming back here in 2017.
Now, just asking on that point, I know it might be a secret, but have we already signed up for more years here, or is it still in discussion?
There'll obviously be a post-review or a review post this race meeting and this event, but all indications are very positive that we'll be back in Scotland in 2017. There's the potential to extend the deal over another couple of years, and certainly early indications from both the council and the regeneration business Riverside Inverclyde are positive. I think people have had a fantastic weekend. This has started to put Greenock, Inverclyde and Scotland on the map in terms of visibility, and with all of the fantastic regeneration that's going on here, why would you not bring a marine motorsport event back to the Clyde?
Robert Wicks, Powerboat P1 Chief Operating Officer, talking to Shelley Jory-Leigh. Next stop, Gosport. Home waters for many of the teams, but as we've seen so many times before, nothing's guaranteed in Powerboat P1.